back. Wasn't that fascinating, Judy Schaefer? I call what she did rearranging shopping at home. So I think that she had some wonderful ideas, and I do hope that Kathy will have her back because she is full of information, delightful lady, and just making one room beautiful at a time, the whole world, right? So, but I have someone really special also. I have Nichole Bentley of Bentley Business Consulting, and she's going to talk about small businesses and what she does. She actually goes in and helps people turn things around. And I'm going to get Nichole to talk. She's a delightful lady. I've known her for quite some time, and she has quite a great background in nonprofit. So, Nichole, tell us about, before you launch into what you're doing with businesses, tell us what you did previous to this, where you got all your experience.
Well, I got a lot of my business management experience working in the nonprofit sector. I spent 14 years at a variety of organizations, including the Nature Conservancy and Southern Methodist University, managing business.
Wow. So that pretty much sets you up to do what you do today. So give us a little 25 words or less, what you do for small businesses now.
Well, I help somebody who is passionate about their strength turn it into a successful business.
Great, excellent. So give us as an example of some of the things that you've done for people.
It's really run the gamut. What small business owners need really varies a lot, but I've done things like help small businesses with business plans when they've taken off more quickly than they thought they would. And I have also helped a lot of small businesses kind of fill the gaps and voids that they know are there, but they're not quite sure what to do to get everything running smoothly.
Yeah. So give us, do you have a case study that you can give us?
Sure.
Without naming any names?
Without naming names, because I do come across all kinds of interesting, innovative ideas, which just amazes me how creative people still are. But one of the most interesting and recent is 5 men who are business partners who started this business on the side. They've created a new niche in a very old established industry. And they thought they were just going to dabble for a while and see how it went. And their first month, they produced $20,000 of revenue. And they realized that their business plan, marketing, a lot of what they needed, they really needed to get things going quickly. So I've stepped in and helped them with their business plans, as well as with their kind of initial marketing collateral. They're a real skilled, professional bunch of guys who could have done it, but just frankly didn't have the time.
Yeah. So tell us what we need to know about small business. You know, small business is the sort of the underwear of the the business culture. It's what holds the economy together. They employ more people than large corporations altogether. People are more likely to be employed by small businesses. Yes. And so give us some ideas of some of the things that small business can do to be successful, and then give us some ideas of what they're doing that's shooting themselves in the foot.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Some things that they can do to be successful can be very simple. Some of the solutions that we come up with for my clients aren't necessarily sexy or Harvard Business Review type solutions, yeah. But for a small business owner, it really needs to be something that you can stick with, that works for you, that you can systematize so that you can repeat it.
Okay, good.
So that's what we target and customize for every one of my clients, something that they can repeat and they can manage themselves.
So one of the things that I'm getting a sense of is, because of your background in nonprofits and helping them, because they have a special, they're special in the business world, aren't they? They have a whole set of challenges that a lot of business for profit don't. I used to say that about my own business. This is a nonprofit business. That's not true anymore, but I think a lot of businesses start out nonprofit. And but that you do look at them as a system. And that, I think, is one of the biggest problems that small business owners especially have with business in general, is they tend to look at things as isolated. Absolutely. And problems as isolated rather than how it's affecting the other parts of the system. Can you give some ideas about that?
Well, I think that that's a great observation on your part, and it is all related, and it gets complicated by the fact that for a lot of small business owners, it's emotional and it's personal.
Yeah.
And it is hard to kind of separate those two things and kind of pull yourself back a little bit, which is where I find a lot of clients need my assistance. But they forget every single thing they do is connected to something else, kind of like the human body is. And they need a roadmap to know where they're going. Does not have to be detailed or complicated or contrived. It could be very simple, but they need an idea of where they're going so they don't end up lost in the woods 5 years from now. And they need to remember that everything that they decide to focus on needs to be kind of in balance and harmony with the other things in their business.
Yeah, that's that's excellent. What about business plans? We hear a lot about business plans. I know you've helped some people that I know with business plans. Not me, folks. Not me, okay?
Definitely
I've
not.
got mine. I've got mine. Not that I could, no. Anyway, because I review mine every year. However, you know how we do that sometimes. We just say, yes, we have a friend. So I know that you've helped some people do business plans. Tell us about a business plan and what's involved in that and what's important to business about that.
Okay. So I love that you review yours once a year, because I think a lot of people forget. And if you've come from a corporate environment, you get these annual visions that change that somebody really high up created and doesn't ever really translate into action for the people on the ground making the business operate. And so I think because of that experience, a lot of small business owners forget your business plan is supposed to be a dynamic, changing,
it's a living
evolving
document. Yes.
Right? You don't finish it and put it in a drawer and you're done. So I like that for them to be simple, and I really customize those for my clients based upon what their needs are. If they are not going to go out for financing, there's a whole portion of their business plan that they don't need to worry about keeping current and reviewing.
Right.
So we really do, there's 8 parts typically to the business plans that I do, and we customize and really beef up the parts that are meaningful for their business. And we don't worry about the parts that aren't relevant to what they're doing right now.
So what's like, I know that one part of a business plan is what a person would go to for an investor.
Yes.
So what are some of the other things that have to be included in that?
You should know your unique value proposition.
Okay. Tell us about that. Those are words that
they are. That's
may
true.
have to be defined here.
So your unique value proposition is not just why you started doing this, because you love IT, for instance, but how are you different from all of the other ones that are in the yellow pages or online? So your unique value proposition would be what makes you different, and what's the extra special thing that you can offer that nobody else can.
That's very, very important, and I think sometimes hold that thought.
Sure.
Because sometimes I think small business people or would-be small business people don't go ahead and do their passion simply because they think, well, so many other people are doing it that, you know, what would be different about me? So what you're saying is sitting down with someone like yourself would help them develop what is unique. After all, we do bring in unique experiences, unique opportunities,
professional experience,
ways of looking at things.
Absolutely.
So that's one of the things that working with someone like you would help a person do, is develop what's valuable that they're giving to the marketplace that no one else does. And
Absolutely.
help them market that.
And a lot of people have that. If they've had the idea and they are kind of continually pulled towards an idea, they probably have a unique value proposition. They probably just haven't put words to it.
Yeah, good. Now, what are some of the other things that are in a business plan that
you need to know your target market? So who are you going after? Right. It's not the whole universe,
right.
And it's probably not strategic for it to be the whole universe. So your target market, very specific ways that you want to reach your target market. And the one part that nobody wants to do in a business plan is, what are the downsides? What are the pitfalls and the things that may not work out? Because it is better to be aware of those and plan for those and potentially prepare for them than to put the blinders on and pretend they don't exist, because we all have potential things that could go wrong in our businesses.
Right. Yeah. What can and will go. Murphy's Law.
Absolutely.
Well, and that is also good to take into consideration, because I think a lot of times small business and entrepreneurs, they have a vision.
Yes.
And so they're visionary, which by definition means that they're probably, anyway, in the NLP model, they're the dreamers. And, or in the Disney model, they're the dreamers. Yeah. They tend not to be the realist, and they tend not to be the critic. And those two other parts are very, very important in a business, because the dreamer doesn't always get us to the dream.
Right.
It's the planner, the realist, and then the critic that'll shoot holes in things that obviously need to be dealt with, that really gets a person from point A to point B. So helping them sit down and deal with the things that the potential things that could go wrong, I think, is extremely valuable. Another thing about something else that you said, wait a minute, what was it? Just right before that, the business, the marketing, the everybody, yeah, yes. the universal statement. Yeah, I hear that a lot in networking groups. Everybody could be my, and that, when the brain, just from an NLP standpoint, when the brain hears everybody, absolutely. It goes through the Rolodex, and it doesn't have anything to reference, right? Yeah. So helping a person get to the target is, I think, extremely valuable, and it really helps other people help them find referrals and people who would be good for their business.
Well, and as entrepreneurs, I think sometimes we have so many ideas in our heads that it gets hard to filter it, and everything seems important because you want your business to succeed. And it is hard to narrow it down and filter down to what are the things you should be spending your time on. And if you're focused on marketing to everybody, you could spend all of your time doing that and getting nowhere. So it also helps you focus your money, your time, resources, not have your business running you, and really spending time on the things that are going to bring the most value to your bottom line.
Yeah. I remember reading the E-Myth Revisited,
yes.
And then in that first, I'm sure you're familiar with it, in the first chapter, it's talking about, I'm really good at something, and going to business and then find that you don't ever get to do it anymore because you're busy doing all these other things that you need to run a business. How did you address that with people?
Well, really, with a lot of people, I go in and help them figure out what are the things they really are good at, and what are some things that we need to outsource. And because they're small businesses, that doesn't always mean paying somebody to do it. It doesn't always mean hiring an employee. Yeah. It really, the thing I love about what I do is it is really kind of business outside the box. And we figure out creative, unique solutions to help my clients get what they need without spending all of the money that they're bringing in. And again, they've got to take some of the emotion out, and they need to be okay not being great at everything, because it's not realistic to think that they're going to be good at everything that they do.
I know, just having worked with small business owners on the communication venue for a long time, that when they often start a business, they'll work with anybody, and but then as they start to get settled and solid a foundation of what they're doing, they start to be more discerning. What you're saying is to start be discerning right up front.
Absolutely.
And so that they're not spending, although I find that sometimes those everybody's, we do learn a lot.
Yes, and lessons you don't want to repeat.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So what else is a business plan?
The business plan also has strategic partners. Tell
us about that. What's a strategic partner?
So a strategic partner would be somebody that, in a perfect world, you can mutually bring benefit to each other's businesses. But at a minimum, somebody that would be good for you to have a relationship with, because they are naturally going to need your products or services.
Okay, that's excellent.
So strategic partnerships are really important with the business planning. We talked about financing, and that varies. Some people are looking for outside financing and some aren't. So a market assessment is necessary, definitely, if you're going to be looking for outside funding.